the story I have is that Norbert Leo Butz worked in Crestwood on Watson at the Olive Garden. And now he has two, not one, but two Tonys. He was actually nominated for a third. He was in the original cast of Wicked. He's maybe the most talented St. Louisan living. He's just a phenomenal actor, dancer, and singer. And he's going to be with us next on the Voice of St. Louis. Why, that's News Radio 1120 KMOX.
Dancing through life, no need to tough it when you can slough it off as I do. Nothing matters, but knowing nothing matters. It's just life, so keep dancing.
That's him, Norbert Leo Butz, the pride of Bishop DeBerg, and from what I'm told, the Olive Garden in Crestwood on Watson. Two-time Tony Award winner, the original Fierro in Wicked, and with us right now on the Voice of St. Louis, KMOX. Mr. Butz, welcome back to St. Louis, if only over the telephone.
Thanks, Charlie. Thanks. It's good to be back over the telephone.
Hey, we've been trying to get you on the program for years, and from afar, watching all your success. It was in the 1990s that I started receiving emails from people from Bishop DeBerg saying, you got to keep your eye on this guy. He's a rising star on Broadway.
My dad was probably sending most of those emails. It's amazing how much pride people feel. I hear from classmates all the time. You know, I'll come out of the theater and there'll be somebody. You know, the awkward thing for me is that I've been away from St. Louis a long time now. You know, I moved away right after I finished college at Webster, 1999, something like that. No, 1990. What am I talking about? 1990. So, you know, I graduated from high school in 85, so people will show up. I haven't seen them in 25, 30 years. You remember me? We had biology together. I'm like, you know what? I can't place it just right now, but...
Well, you know, the thing is, you don't understand, because we've been following your career and watching all these Tonys, and we see the guy from St. Louis winning them for Catch Me If You Can and Dirty Rotten Scoundrels, and everyone has the soundtrack to Wicked, and so we're just excited for your success. And then when you're starring with Katie Holmes on Broadway, it's like, wow. It's let me ask you, did you actually work at the Olive Garden on Watson?
Not only did I work there, Charlie, I was a member of the inaugural wait staff of that restaurant. I opened that restaurant with my brother Tony. We now this was back. I think it was the first Olive Garden in St. Louis. Actually, it was kind of a big deal at the time. I didn't last long. I guess I was destined for a career on stage because my brother, who excelled at waiting tables and made hundreds of dollars, was always humiliated when I would come home with paltry $15, dropping half my trade. I was terrible.
So was it? What was?
But
it?
I was good at the singing part. You know, they would have us go around and sing "Happy Birthday," and I would put a lot of effort into that. Try to get my tips that way.
Was that method acting?
A little bit at Disney.
Let me ask you about starting Wicked. Fierro, you were the first one on Broadway. You're on the soundtrack. Talk about being part of what is now, I guess, I hate the word iconic because it's overused, but I think Wicked and Broadway are iconic. It's like the one show that TKTS does not give discounts to because they don't have to, right?
Well, yeah, I've been lucky enough to be a part of two sort of really big iconic shows. My first job on Broadway was in Rent, which was also kind of a big smash, and then Wicked. The interesting thing about Wicked was I didn't do it very long. I originated the role and I did the album, and then we were only open about 3 weeks, and I injured my neck really badly. I guess I had like a pre-existing swollen disc in my neck and ruptured it on stage. In the middle of that song, you were just playing for your listeners. So every time I hear that song, I get a little twinge in my neck. It's not the same pleasant experience for me as it is for all the kids who listen to Wicked. But then I was out of the show for like 2.5 months. I had to have an emergency surgery on my neck. And then I came back to the show for a couple months, but while I was healing my neck, I got offered the lead in Dirty Rotten Scoundrels, which was a bigger role and a bigger stretch for me. So I left. I only did Wicked for about 6 months total. So I'm probably the only person in that original company who never made any real money in Wicked because I never stayed with it long enough. But it was a great experience. It was really great to sing that music.
And you did get a wife out of the deal.
I got a wife out of the deal. Yes, but when all eyes were on those two lead witches, I was checking out the quieter third witch in the background, and she was more my speed. So
your wife. For our listeners who may not know, your wife, Melissa, was the original Nessa Rose on Wicked. Michelle, I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. She was the original Nessa Rose, and she's on the record too, and that's where we met. And we've now been married for 6 years and have a beautiful 2-year-old daughter. So,
it's a good thing that 2-year-olds.
I got the good witch at the end.
It's a good thing 2-year-olds are so easy to take care of and don't keep you up at night or.
I know. Well, hey, listen, I have 2 older daughters from my first marriage, and my oldest is 15. So my 2-year-old is easy compared to my 15-year-old.
Oh,
I hope she's not listening to this. I don't think she is. Hopefully she's at school.
Oh, a lot of 15-year-olds are listening to KMOX on KMOX.com. Hey,
great.
I have to ask you about the Angel Band project that takes place here in St. Louis, May the 8th. And now we're taking ladies and gentlemen, the interview is going to get serious here because Norbert lost his beautiful sister in a tragic crime in Seattle almost 4 years ago when she was murdered in her home. And now you're heading up a fundraiser at the Sheldon, May 8th, here in St. Louis, 7 p.m. Give us a little background on this one.
This is just a labor of love for a lot of people. When we lost Teresa and the way that we lost her, it was a huge, it's a double grief. There's just losing her, and then there's trying to process the crime. And, we were kind of all, obviously, sort of broken through this experience. But my parents are people of faith, and as are my siblings and I. And at her funeral, we just did a lot of singing. And some hymns that she would have loved, and 2 of her best friends, her oldest friends, Jean Fox Robertson and Rachel, oh my God, I'm only going to remember her maiden name, Rachel Rankin, Rachel Ebeling, thank you. They came up with this idea of myself and several of my siblings recording some of the music that we had sung at her funeral. And we made kind of like a very grassroots homemade CD, and Jean and Rachel produced it and titled it The Angel Band Project. And the idea was to sort of share her story and share the inspiration that music and art can sort of help people cope with unspeakable losses like this. And they've become soldiers in the field of raising awareness and support for women who have survived these crimes. And so they have taken the Angel Band Project and turned it into a not-for-profit and continued to do work and outreach, and they've joined with a group called the Voices and Faces Project, which is a group that helps women rehabilitate after these incredibly violent sexual crimes. And so they've asked me, and I have, jumped at the chance to come back home, which I've never really done. I've never gotten to perform in St. Louis since I left Webster University, and do a concert to help raise money for this not-for-profit. And it's going to be at the Sheldon. They're just doing an amazing job. I'm bringing some musician friends of mine. We're forming a great band. I'm going to do a lot of songs that I love, some stuff from shows, but a lot of just inspirational stuff. And it's not going to be a depressing night. It's not going to be a night about, bringing up all the grief again. It's really going to be a night of celebration and song about how people can heal from awful circumstances. And so, we're thrilled about it, and it's gonna be fantastic.
I think so too, and we're going to help you promote this here on KMOX. The tickets will go on sale March the 11th, and at that time we'll be promoting the fact they're at metrotix.com, and you can also go to...
Yeah, May 8th is the show.
May 8th.
At the Sheldon.
Right. And the tickets go on sale March the 11th, right, Norbert? And, then you can also go to angelbandproject.org to get information and maybe even tickets for this event. And as I recall it, this was a national story out of Seattle. Your sister Teresa had a partner who was attacked, and did Teresa intervene and then got killed in the process?
Yeah.
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 I mean, it's just an unbelievable story, and the courtroom drama filled the pages of Seattle newspapers and beyond for a period as well. It was really horrific on about 5 levels, wasn't it?
It was. It was a really, in a lot of ways, I'm still processing it. My parents are still processing it. All of us who loved her. But I think the one thing that we've all really come to peace with, being people of faith, is that she is with her Maker, and we are I think ready to really focus on the celebration of her life and the hope that is out there for women and families of women who have lived through these almost kind of unimaginable crimes, the most aggravated types of crimes, sexual crimes against women, and unfortunately, Charlie, this is really prevalent in our society. It's sadly prevalent in the society. And again, the concert's not going to be about really preaching to people, but we are going to sort of try to inspire, and we're going to try to raise some awareness and raise some funds, because it's a long, it's a lifetime of rehabilitation for these victims. It's not just go to a counselor for a couple of months and then it's back to work as usual. This is a lifetime of processing and coping with the types of the tragedies that they've lived through. And but there's hope. There is a door to kind of walk through to get to the other side of that hopelessness, which is really, if I had to put a word on what you feel like, what I felt like after we lived through this and after the trial, you begin to doubt if there's any goodness left in the world, and you come through faith, at least, to realize that there is much goodness in the world, and that's what we want to communicate.
Indeed. Norbert Leo Butz, folks, if you just heard, he's coming back for the first time since he left St. Louis.
I can't believe it. I'm so embarrassed to say that, but I'm so...
Yeah, I mean, Idana Menzel's been here, Kristen Chenoweth's been here, but
I know.
Norbert Leo Butz...
I'm raising 3 girls, too, so give me
including a 15-year-old.
And a 15-year-old.
Yes. Hey, Norbert Leo Butz returning to his hometown Wednesday, May the 8th, 7 p.m., Sheldon. Tickets starting March the 11th at metrotix.com, and it's part of the Angel Band Project. You can go to angelbandproject.org for more information. And we're going to let you go now, but before we do, are you working on anything we should know about in terms of stage or screen?
Yeah, I'm actually in rehearsal. I'm going to be in Chicago this spring, right before I do that concert, with a huge new musical called Big Fish. I'm playing the lead role in that, based on the Tim Burton film. And a great new big musical. So my plate is full. I love being busy, so I'm really grateful. So come up to Chicago too. We start performances on April 2nd. April 7th till I think March 4th, and I go straight to St. Louis and do that show.
Sounds great. Definitely.
Yeah.
Chicago in the springtime. Could be worse. Hey,
that's right.
Norbert Leo Butz, thank you very much for joining us. Hope you can do it again, maybe before May the 8th.
Maybe.
Okay.
Thanks so much, Charlie. I appreciate it.
Good luck, Norbert. Thanks for everything.